SDPI and the Climate Action Network South Asia, KANSA, recently launched a research report on climate-induced displacement and migration in Pakistan, insights from Muzaffargarh and Tirupakar districts. I'm Aisha Ilyas and I'll be doing a podcast on this report today. The study ascertains multiple repercussions of climate change impacts on the rural and urban livelihood patterns and opportunities. In rural areas, extreme weather events reduce agricultural productivity and profitability, affecting farm jobs and income, particularly for the landless farm laborers and sharecroppers. Reduced income, loss of livelihood assets such as livestock, and increased deaths lead to hunger and malnutrition. According to the study's finding, the absence of effective early warning systems and proper infrastructure to cope with extreme climatic events is a matter of grave concern, as people have limited adaptive and response capabilities to face multiple challenges posed by climate change to their life, property, and livelihoods. This has resulted in enhanced vulnerabilities that critically impact people's livelihood sources and coping strategies. Climate-induced migration exacerbates typical migration typologies such as rural to rural, rural to urban to urban, international, and seasonal migration. Displaced rural communities are least prepared to cope with floods and droughts. They lack training and knowledge of risks and have no information regarding the expected loss of life and livelihood assets. In urban areas, migrant families mostly reside at vulnerable locations to flood due to a lack of affordability and knowledge of the place. Furthermore, lack of social support also amplifies challenges to the migrant families in destination areas. Migrant families mostly spend money on food, health, and shelter from their savings. Ultimately, they fall into debt traps because their economic livelihoods are devastated by flooding, drought, and other natural disasters. This situation compels them to borrow money further, thus putting them deeper in debt because of compounding interests. Migrants have also expressed dissatisfactions in terms of access to healthcare, water supply, shelter, sanitation, and availability of food at destination urban areas. Climate-induced migration is likely to undermine women's well-being. Health is the most significant issue for a migrating woman. The access to health facilities, social safety nets, and public support programs was limited for women during and after the migration in the areas of destinations, the study finds so. Effective and timely institutional support can reduce many risks and vulnerabilities. The role of government institutions is limited to preparing and facilitating communities during extreme climate events. Political influence in decision making regarding financial aid distribution and failure to provide necessary facilities during extreme climate events further add to the institutional inefficiency. Likewise, bureaucratic hurdles in approval and release of funds and the frequent transfer of district administrative officials also increase institutional incompetence and lack of preparedness in the vulnerable areas. Based on the research findings, the report recommends providing training, information, and resources to promote climate-resilient farming and integrated water resource management to ensure strategic water reserve for human and livestock consumption, building community awareness on disaster prevention and preparedness, providing better access to health, education, and essential services, including safe drinking water to counter adverse climate change impacts. Improving the flow of information for climate and weather-related forecasts such as heavy rainfall, flood, and drought warnings, and undertaking precautionary measures among public departments to better respond and prepare. Developing the capacity of provincial and local government officials to better respond to the local level slow and fast onset climatic changes by effectively monitoring and assessing vulnerable populations and identifying potential adaptation measures. The focus should also extend to the integration of migrants in local job markets for inclusive growth and development by improving access to microfinance and agro loans for rural landless classes and small business owners. Devising a national and subnational level internal migration policy based on social, economic, environmental, cultural, and demographic information, including vulnerable migrant families both for areas of origin and destination in the National Socio-Economic Registry for support through national to local level social protection schemes and aid distribution such as BISP and NSA's Emergency Cash Program, raising awareness of the issue of climate-induced migration among local to national policymakers for a policy change to address social and economic issues and challenges faced by migrant families. And last but not least, collaborative global and regional research should be carried out, given the scale of uncertainties regarding climate change impact and anticipating migration patterns and trends. This is particularly important in terms of how internal migration during a certain period extends to international migration.